Hello seniors, today we're going to start filling out the Common App. So the very first thing that you need to do is navigate to commonapp.org. This is going to be the home screen and your best friend for the next few days. When you hit apply now, you're going to notice that it says create an account. You all need to create an account unless you have already done so. When you're filling this out, you need to make sure that you're noting that you're a first year student because you guys are all going to be freshmen next year. After that, you're going to plug in your personal information number, your personal information, and create an account. Make sure that you are using your personal email and not your RC LPS email. As you are typing in your information, make sure that you are creating a password that meets all of these requirements. So it has to be at least one uppercase, one lowercase, make sure that it has a number and some sort of special character. Make sure that you don't have any spaces, otherwise it will not let you continue. After you have figured out what your information is going to be, I'd like for you to navigate over to your application prep workbook, lives in your drive, and go to the password tracker. Under the password tracker, you're going to go ahead and type in what your email address is or your login information, as well as any password, the password that you just created, so whatever that looks like for you. So please make sure that you pause this video right now so that you can go ahead and complete these steps. Okay, so once you already wrote down your login information, go ahead and go to the Common App and hit continue. In this page, it's just going to ask you for your personal information, so make sure that you're typing whatever your name is. Remember that if you have two last names, be sure that you're including that so all of your records can match. And the address, you're going to go ahead and fill in that. Great, so take a moment to go ahead and fill out this information. Type in your personal mailing address, the address where you live, not mailing address, where you actually reside, and make sure you have your phone number, your date of birth. You are going to go ahead and indicate that you are starting college in 2018/2019. Make sure that these boxes is just like in case you want colleges to be able to reach out to you via email, you can go ahead and leave that there. Be sure to select this box that makes sure that Common App knows that you're over 13 while you're creating this account. And no, we're not based in a European Union country. So once you hit that, you're going to hit create. And then you're going to be at this page. And this is going to be your dashboard for your Common App. So you'll notice that this is your home screen. Today what we're going to work on is the Common App. So if you click on the Common App tab, you're going to notice that it has all of these sections that you have to fill out. The very first one has to do with personal information. You're going to notice that it has a bunch of these tabs. So we're just going to go tab by tab. Make sure that you are putting whatever your actual name is. Anything with a little star with an asterisk means that you need to fill it out. If you have a nickname, for example, if your name is Nicholas and you'd like to be called Nick, you can go ahead and type that in here. If your nickname is, I don't know, Cupcake something or Tiger something, that is not what we're going to put there. So just take a moment right now and continue to fill this out. This is going to be if you have any other names that you've ever used. For me, it'll be no. You'll select your sex. And you'll just confirm whatever your birthday was. So take a moment right now to fill in this section and pause the video. So as you work through this, you'll be able to hit and you answer all the questions with an asterisk. You'll be able to see that it has a little check mark once you're done with each section. So this is the address that I put in when I created an account. So make sure that you are selecting this. If you have an alternative mailing address, then you can go ahead and list that here. So for example, if you have a PO box or if you get your mail at somebody else's house, you can continue to do that. And so as you are working through this, make sure that whatever your preferred home number, so whatever you select for your home number, that's just the number that you'll be reached at. It'll be your primary number. So if you have a cell phone number that you'd like to be reached at, you can go ahead and type that in. Or if you would like to add an additional number, you can go ahead and do that here as well. For example, if you want to put your home number, I'm going to go ahead and just put my cell phone here, but it would be the other way. And then you hit continue and you'll notice that it has a green check mark. So as you're working with this, you'll see the demographics comes up. The very first question is religious preference. So if you consider yourself religious, you can go ahead and select what best kind of just suits that. If you don't, you can leave that empty. Everyone here is not, no one here is serving in the U.S. Armed Forces, so for everyone that's going to be none. If you consider yourself Hispanic or Latino, you can go ahead and select that. If you do select that, it'll have you select which one best describes your background. You can go ahead and select that for yourself. And then this is where you can just select if you identify as American Indian, Asian, Black or African American, White, Native American. You can go ahead and select this. Keep in mind that only the ones with stars are required, but the most information that you can provide about yourself and about your background is great. And this is just in case you don't identify with any of the above and you prefer not to respond to this, you can go ahead and select that. If you already selected major selections for each of these categories, you can just say you can continue. And as you work through this, you're going to make sure that you are putting your your country of birth, and you're selecting this and how many years you've actually lived in the United States. If you lived outside of the US, you'll go ahead and select that. So here you'll just put in where your country of birth is. If you were born in the US, you'll fill it out accordingly. Make sure that you put the city and the state that you were born in, whatever your age is, and if you lived outside of the US, which most likely you have not, you'll go ahead and do that. If you were someone that was born outside of the country, for example, like myself, I would fill this out, say in Mexico. It'll tell you to put in whatever city you were born in, how many years you lived outside. So you guys are probably, I'll just make this up a little bit. Maybe you came when you were 2 or something. You go ahead and fill that out, and you'll notice as you're going through continue, it'll continue to check mark these for you. Languages. So if you are fluent in 1, 2, 3 languages, you're going to go ahead and select that here. For your first language for yourself, will probably be English. Don't know if that was your first language or not, but you can go ahead and select that if it applies to you. If you can speak, read, and write it. Hopefully all of you guys can do that, right? Whether or not it's spoken at home. If you are fluent in a second language, for example, Spanish, you'll go ahead and do that and note whether or not that was your first language. Whether you can speak it, maybe you can't read it or write it, but it'll just give them a sense of what your proficiency is. So once you click that, it's going to take you to citizenship status. If you're a U.S. citizen, you're going to go ahead and select U.S. citizen. And this is going to be where you put in your social security number. So go ahead and pause this video now. So if you do know your social security, you'll go ahead and put it now. If you don't, that it's okay. You can leave it blank for now. We can come back to this before you submit it. If you are someone that was born outside of the U.S. and you don't have U.S. citizenship, you can go ahead and select that. Select the country that you do have citizenship in. This is going to instruct you to put whether or not you hold a visa. So if you do, it's going to actually ask you what type of visa. Is it a student, tourist visa? So you'll have to know what kind that is, and you'll also need to provide them with the actual visa number. So if that applies to you, you can go ahead and just continue to work through this and come back to this. If you are someone who is AB 540 and you do not have a visa, you can go ahead and select no. It will ask you either way if you intend to apply for a new visa. You can go ahead and do that if you are currently in the process of applying for a visa or some sort of paperwork. If you're not, then you can go ahead and put I do not intend to apply. So once you hit continue, it'll take you to the CommonApp fee waiver. Right here, you will all just mark yes. This is the reason why we give you guys a fee waiver, and you're able to apply to all these schools. You guys all qualify and use then SAT or ACT fee waiver, so you can do that. If you are currently enrolled in receiving free or reduced lunch on our campus, you can go ahead and select that as well. And if any other of these kind of just applies to you, you can go ahead and do that now. Once you do that, it's just going to instruct you to type in your name as if you're signing that all of this information is correct. And then it'll move you on to the next section. So you'll see profile is completed. And so you'll be working through this to make sure that you're putting now your family information. On this page, you're going to select and actually answer these questions based on your birth parents. So if your parents are married, you're going to go ahead and select that. If your parents are separated, you can select that, or if they are divorced, it'll instruct you to select the year of divorce. So if that applies to you, you can go ahead and do that. If you are living with both parents at home, you'll go ahead and select that. Or if you're living with one parent, that is what you can do. So if you select parent 1, that just means whoever you list down on parent 1, that is the information that you need to make sure that you input. This is asking you if you want to list any step parents. So if that is someone that lives in your household and provides, and you'd like to include them in your application, you can go ahead and do that. If you have any children, you'll go ahead and select that. And as you move along, it'll just instruct you to tell them whether or not the first person is mother, father. If you have someone, if you're in a single parent household and you don't have enough information about your parent, you can go ahead and select, I have limited information about this parent, and then it will just take whatever you have. Otherwise, it'll just instruct you to try to put in the most that you can. So go ahead and take a moment now and pause the video so you can select this, fill in all this information for your parent 1. As you're working through this, at the end you'll see it'll ask you where their country of birth is. You can go ahead and put that. Cell phone number or house number that they can be reached at, as much information as you have. If you live in the same address as your parent 1, so if you live with both parents, you can go ahead and just click same address with the first parent. That's totally okay. Or if you spend more time with your parent number 2, then you can select that. Maybe their address is a little different, and you'll have to know that. Whatever information you guys don't have, you can always pause and come back to it. You can continue to work through the application. So if your parent for some might be a homemaker, like if they're not employed, then you can go ahead and select that. It'll ask you for what kind of education level. So if they did some high school, great. If they got to kind of like middle school, that would be this one. If they got to elementary school, that would be this one. So you can just select that for your parent. If your parent works doing some other type of work, so for example, my dad works as a laborer, employment status, it'll tell you, are they currently employed? Are they retired? You can put that for your parent if that applies. Position and title just means what are they currently, what is their title at work? So if you don't know that, you can go home and ask them. Are they a retired employee? No, most likely they are not, unless your parent has been employed by a college or a university. Name of current employer, you can go ahead and put that. For your parent, education level, just select what that is for them. And so I just did this for my dad, I realized, but or supposedly my dad. But so again, you're putting whatever parent number 1 is, you're putting their information on there. Okay, and then you'll move on to parent number 2, and you'll do the exact same thing with parent number 2. So go ahead and pause the video now and type in as much as information that you have available for your parents. When you move on to the siblings, it'll just instruct you to put in how many siblings you have, so you'll go ahead and do that. You'll type in your siblings information, so I'll type in one of my sisters. You guys probably know her. Any information that you guys have available, the relationship, whether it's a brother or sister, you'll go ahead and list that. Education level, so if your sibling is currently in college, you can go ahead and put some college, university, because they're still there. If you know what they're getting a degree in, great. If you don't, that is okay. It will instruct you, though, if you are saying that they are in college, to type in the college that they are in. So for example, if Nora happens, my sibling happens to be at Laney College, I will go ahead and search up the college here and then select it, hit continue, and then it'll have that information. If you know their start date and their end date, you can go ahead and put that, and then just continue to type in all of your siblings information on there. If you have a small sibling, for example, if they're 5, you can go ahead and put that there. Education level, you can just select none, because if they're not going to school, then that's okay. They probably are in school right now, so you can just put some grade school, and then it'll have you continue. Great, and so that is the first 2 sections, y'all. You guys are doing great, working through it.